peoples, and welcome back to another session of Dionne's Corner. Well, as you know, we've been dealing with the topic, is the Black Church keeping Black women single? So, today we're very fortunate to be speaking with Brother and Sister Robinson, aka Brother Garfield and Sister Sean. They are a married couple. Yes, singletons, they're married. We'll tell you in a little while why we've chosen to bring a happily married couple onto a show that's dealing with a single issue. But first, I'm going to be dealing with some of the questions that we had on Instagram, and Brother Michael's just going to read them for me off screen. Okay, go ahead.
So, please can you define what you consider to be the Black Church, or are you speaking on behalf of your particular organization?
Okay, so I'm not speaking on behalf of my particular organization. What I consider to be the Black Church is any church that's predominantly Afro-Caribbean culture. I know that the kingdom is neither black or white, etc. But because this issue seemed to be very prevalent in our culture and in our background, that's why I refer to it as the Black Church. So I hope that answers your question.
So another few statements and questions here is, the key question is, why is there a lack of black men in church? Are they incarcerated? Not wanting to be under any authority? Do some black churches not encourage interracial relationships? Why don't some black churches promote the power of being single, serving God, and focusing on personal career aspirations?
Okay, so those are all excellent questions. Some of those questions we will touch on and get the opinion of Brother and Sister Garfield, Brother and Sister Robinson.
Brother and Sister Sean.
Not Brother and Sister Sean. Brother and Sister Garfield.
Right.
Thank you. Really, yes.
Yeah.
Those questions that we don't get to in this session, we'll pick it up in another session. But I love your questions. Keep rolling them in.
I've got one more statement. I think that will be good because you'll go over it. So in answer to, I think, what you were saying in the video, because relationships are so taboo in churches, how are we as young women supposed to understand the concept of a Christian union?
Well, I see. Okay, so leading on from that question, we're going to just jump right in. So, hi, Brother and Sister Garfield. Welcome to Dionne's Corner.
Hi, Dionne.
Can you just briefly introduce yourself and give us a brief synopsis of your story thus far, and then we'll go right into the first question.
You want to go first? Go on then.
Okay, I'm Brother Garfield. And this is a really good topic. And, a lot in it. We can look at for unmarried, what you call people. And we're talking about the culture, the culture of today and the culture of yesterday. We can deal with a lot of things because marriage is different now from, I must say, from my time. It's gone different now, and we as married couple. I met my wife 39 years?
30 years ago.
30 years. And I tell you what, there's a lot in it, and we have to adjust ourselves, and we have to be serious with some of the things that we go through. Certain things like bills, what again, love,
Hey.
you have to, and friendship.
Okay.
You have to be a friend before you really get into, say you want to marry.
Okay.
Because if you don't be a friend, you know, you get maybe tired of, you know, your partner or something. So you have to be a friend to really get into marriage, because me and Sean, we can talk a lot. Believe you me.
We do talk a lot.
We talk a lot. Yes, and that build the relationship. Yeah, we don't mess about with talking. We talk actually till 12 o'clock at night.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Just so you know, and then you know each other.
Okay.
So when they pressure off bills and thing, we talk it over. Coming to light, we talk it over, and we can, you know, make fun of certain things and laugh it over, and that take the pressure off life. I believe so much.
Okay, thank you, Sister Sean. How can you just elaborate a little bit more on your briefly on your journey from singlehood to being married?
Well, my journey from singlehood started off, I had a child that I went into the relationship with, and I remember Brother Trout, it was, that had an event. It was a reunion in Emmanuel, Jamaica, and I didn't really want to go. I couldn't afford to, and someone encouraged me to go, told me how to save, and me and Kieran, we went across to this reunion, and I met Garfield the first day.
So was it love at first sight?
No, but it was a nice high. But I think that's where I'll talk to anyone. I'm a really sociable person, and so when him and Marvin and this other chap went up the stairs, I just said a quick hi. And then every time we saw each other, he said hi, and I said hi, and then we started to talk, and you know our conversations, it's like from morning till evening. So at break time, we just found each other, and we would chat outside. You can ask Claudette and all Jen, all the people go there. We'll chat outside the church, and we'll literally talk from one end of the rail and talk until we work our way to the other end of the rail. We'd speak throughout all the breaks. And if I needed anything, I'd say, do you know where I can find the iron, or where the shop is, whatever. I just chatted as friends, really, and laughed and chatted. And that's what I liked about him, because I could talk to him about anything. Funny things. I remember at one time I asked him, what's your middle name? And we just laughed the whole evening about getting each other's middle name. Things like that.
So, Brother Garfield, the little meetings up, and the fact that she could find you during this conversation to talk to, was that a coincidence or was it on purpose?
Was it on purpose? Well, for me, it was on purpose.
I see, yes.
I don't wait till when church finished to go find this young
I think
brother.
it was on purpose. I couldn't, because sometimes when I enter the church, it's like having service.
You're looking for the person,
and I'm looking for her. And I'm all over the place.
Sure it's on the choir.
Yes, my eye was
on the choir.
My eye was just looking all over the place. I said, oh my days. I said, and if she come, she arrived as yet, or she in service, or sometimes I mistake looking at
the wrong person.
The wrong person.
So let me get this straight. You didn't get a sign from Jesus, and he didn't put a big hand out the sky and said, oh, sure, I love thy husband. It wasn't like that?
No. It was. I did something, because before she came on holiday, was it?
It was a reunion,
my bishop told me, because we were carpeting the floor, and he said, one of them a lady coming down is going to be your wife. So I wasn't looking.
Didn't even pay attention.
I didn't really pay attention to that. But it's happened that I said hello, and she said hello, and then hello turn into, I don't know,
a long conversation,
and then things start happening.
And I think that's why it's key for, especially for me, I could speak about sisters. I think you should be comfortable in talking to brothers, not be shy and withering away. Be strong in your conversation. Obviously, making your boundaries, but be happy.
Yeah.
Say happy things, greet happily, have a nice cheerful look on your face, or if you've got a lovely personality, show it.
Yeah.
Because someone's only going to be attracted to you from afar by your looks. Until they start to get to know you, then they know your character. But for me, I didn't go around with this great big fake smile on my face, but I like to know and like to feel that I'm a bubbly person. And as I say, I will have a conversation with anybody, and especially he was so funny. He was full of joke. Every little thing, he was full of joke, and there was something about his personality that really connected with me, and some things that he spoke about. I said, well, I like that, and then he would, I like that, and so we found out that we had a lot in common.
Comfortable, yeah.
And what I liked about him as well was the fact that he spoke about the Lord a lot, and everything, any situation that I could remember that we spoke about, the Lord was in the center of that.
Okay.
And I remember saying to my boy, who do you want me to marry? When I came back from Jamaica after having this whirlwind romance, and it wasn't even romantic then, but we knew we liked each other. I knew that I really liked him, and because I couldn't wait to see him again. You know, that chemistry was there.
Okay.
But when I came back from the trip, and my child was 7 or 6 then, and I said, who do you want mommy to marry? And he says, Garfield. And I said, why do you want me to marry Garfield? Because he bought me bun and a drink. That's a good one.
I done that because you know why?
That was
Wow. Okay, so let's go back to the last question that you read, Michael. Read that again for us, please, because I think that's going to be the start of our conversation to come.
Okay. Just give me a few seconds.
Okay, so Garfield, that the all bun and cheese maneuver. It was strategic. So you butter up the sun. You love the sun to get rid of. Okay, young men, are you taking notes? Are you seeing this?
Right.
But when I had my child and I went into church, even before I went into church, and I brought the relationship off with his dad, I was sure, although I was young, that I didn't want another relationship. I didn't want to play my child around. I just wanted to have a relationship that I knew was going to be permanent. I didn't really want to drift in and out of relationships.
Okay.
So I knew whoever came into my life would be a permanent fixture. For me, that was a very important thing for me. So that's why I asked him the question, because I knew what I wanted. But it was also important for me to get feedback from my son. Because once he gave me the green light, that I said, okay, that's fine. If you love him and you're happy with this young gentleman, then this is it. We can pursue it. But maybe if he had said no, I wouldn't have.
Huh?
Okay. Let's go.
Right. Okay. So, because relationships are so taboo in some churches, how are we as young women supposed to understand the concept of a Christian union?
Okay. So, how important it is for us to see good marriages played out in church. How important is it? And something that you don't know about Sister Sean, she's actually the women's leader in Beulah. So how important is it in your capacity as women's leader to show a vibrant and loving relationship to those young women that you're leading at the moment?
For me, it's important because it's part of who I am. I spoke about this public display of affection on a forum a couple of days ago, and that's part of me. I like to show that I love my husband. I mean, I wouldn't be disrespectful in public about it, but I want to. I'm happy in my relationship, and as I say, that's an extension of myself. That when I'm in public, I need people to see our interaction. I sit beside my husband in church. I might, showing that I'm there, that kind of thing. We have a little cheeky laugh.
Oh yes.
Share little jokes between each other in church. And this is the kind of thing. That's our relationship, really. It's live. This is real time. Our relationship. It's got to be that, and I think it's important for it to be that. For not because you do it intentionally to show other people what it ought to be. But yes, you do want people to see, look, this is what marriage is. You're happy, you can joke with your spouse, you can have a little cheeky laugh, you can pray for him in church, you can feel his pain. You've got to display that, I think, to inspire and to encourage other people that, look, when you're married, you don't have to be miles and miles apart and just be intimate and close when you're indoors. But I mean, if we have breakfast together, a couple of times in the week, we'll just go out and we treat ourselves. Sometimes we'll go for a weekend, or they're off again. Everybody knows that we have a picnic. We used to have a banquet. We get fruit and all that, and in our bedroom, and it's not a secret to anybody that we do that kind of thing. So we like to make this known, generally speaking, so people can maybe get ideas, or if you've got a marriage that is a bit old and got a few cobwebs, you can flush out the cloth and not be. I mean, for me in my relationship, for example, I see it as my role in the relationship to think, hang on a minute, it's getting a bit boring, a bit tired. Let's get off. So I'll pick him up. And he doesn't even know that he's going to Bournemouth, for example.
No,
And next minute he's going down the motorway. That I see that as my job to do that.
Why do you feel that's...
Sorry, I'm just praising the Lord.
Sorry.
I'm asking him to send me.
Okay, why do you see it as your role to inject some romance in the relationship? Why isn't it him is the man that he should do?
I know, but instead of sitting down, sorry, Garth, instead of sitting down and waiting for it to happen, make it happen.
Okay.
Because a lot of times I can sit down and think, oh, I want this to happen, that happen. And I think, well, if you want it to happen, why don't you just do it? So I'll sit down, I'll come up with some mad idea about, like, for example, on our 20th, renewing our vows. I said, right, this is what we're doing. And he's thinking, can we really do that? You really want to renew this? So I've got the whole reception thing going on again. We renew our vows. And then I organised this surprise honeymoon to Tenerife. He knew nothing about it, the poor man.
Wow.
Until the night before.
I don't like the plane
but
flights,
you just do things to keep it fresh and exciting. You do a special meal or, don't even cook up proper meal, have a breakfast at dinner time, something random like that.
Okay.
To keep it.
And just learn to accept everything. I mean, what your wife does and appreciate her.
Okay.
You have to learn. You have to learn all those things to make you feel good about ourselves.
You have to work hard.
If she buy a new dress, then you compliment her. You don't just sit there and with a grumpy face. You just give her some compliments and makes you feel good about herself.
So let me ask you this, Brother Garfield. Okay, seeing that you're married to such a strong woman, such a godly woman, how do you still keep that authority in your home and still be the head of your home without squashing her and not allowing her to be herself? Because this is the scripture that young boys get taught, and it gets women should should be subjected to their own husband. That's the thing that you men get taught, but they don't get taught about leadership. A couple of verses before about you should love your wife. and not be bitter against her. So how do you balance that?
Is like you just say Adam and Eve.
First of all, I get the remote control, yeah?
Yes. You
I
would
want
say,
to give
yeah. She always had the remote control. And sometimes you watch Coronation Street and things like that. But you learn to allow her to do her own things. And then you try to love her in that sense. Because if you override it too much, I'm the head. What head is it? Are you the head to rule her? No, I don't believe that. I believe when the Bible says you are the head, you are only man. And Adam and Eve. If you look at Adam and Eve, Christ says they were actually, what do you call it now? They were husband and wife in the beginning. There was husband and wife. When Adam Eve become sin, then God said, look, the man shall rule over you. But we have to understand that we are in Christ, right? Christ is the head. So we have to learn. You are head at home, but you have to learn not to, I would say, really put it to say you are the head and you are the ruler. Because if you're going to put it that way, say you're the ruler and the head, you're going to have argument. You're going to have argument in the house. So what you have to do, you have to adjust yourself. You know, oftentimes you have to adjust yourself. If you see she doing something wrong or she say something to you, you have to just say, listen, you can't say I'm the head, so you're supposed to go by what I say. No, you don't go that way. You listen to her, and then the two of you compromise, come together and appreciate each other and learn. But if you're going to say you are the head, just head ruler, you're going to be in big trouble.
I would say the first thing, that's the topic for our International Women's Day next year.
Cool.
Do you have a problem wives, do you have a problem in submitting to your husband? That's the topic we're going to have. But I would say, as pick up what Garfield said, from our standpoint, if there's a decision to be made, we don't really go by whose head and whatever. We go by the best
For the home.
decision for the home. That's what we sit and we say, okay, we'll talk and say how this, how that. The boys are old enough now, we put it to them and they say, okay, so and so. And we discuss certain points and we come up with the best idea. But I think even through his journey of health, compromising health, I try, though I'm the matriarch, the glue trying to hold things together, I still consult him. I don't dismiss his opinion or his decision. I still give him the opportunity, the role as the dad to spearhead the relationship. So sometimes I might initiate things and say, oh, I'm doing it. I don't like going off and doing it and then come tell him, look, I've done that.
Okay.
We'll sit and we'll negotiate it. So yes, I am a strong woman. I don't know how it's with me sometimes. Honestly, yeah.
So I want to deal with part of the question that dealt with. It said relationships are taboo. And I think it's a young lady asking. So I want you to talk about relationships among young people being a taboo. So she's saying, how can we understand the concept of a Christian union? So you've dealt with kind of marriages actually demonstrated as how they should be and being open about your marriage. But if relationships amongst young people are a taboo, or if they don't know how to get together, how will they understand the concept of a Christian union if people are not talking to them or actively talking to them to deal with some of those issues?
Okay, so how do you teach about, I don't want to say the word dating, but how do you teach about initiating conversation and contact between the opposite sex with your young women? Because it's not like you're going to meet Mr. X and then Mr. X is going to be it. You may have to talk to a few guys, not say that you're intimate with them or you're telling everybody that you love them or whatever, but nowadays you may have to just be friendly or friends with XYZ for a period of time and then say, you know what, this is not for me, or this is, and so how do you encourage them to keep themselves and their hearts safe during that process?
Well, for me, what I like to say to the young women is to empower them on the art of having communication with a brother. Feel comfortable to have a natural conversation with a brother, just like how you would speak to a sister. And through that friendship, like when I met my husband, for example, through that a conversation and acquaintance, you're building up a friendship that you will realize this is more than a friendship. And then before you actually start having feelings for the person, you need to consult with the pastor and say, for example, I've met Brother Garfield, because that's what I did. I came back and I went to my bishop at the time. I said, Bishop Anderson, I've met somebody. And he said, okay, Sister Sean, leave it with me. And he then spoke to his bishop. In fact, when he went to Jamaica, he met with his bishop. Anderson. So he didn't forget the conversation I had with him. You know, the thing takes 3 years. 3 years. Oh my goodness, it took 3 years for that whole process to take place, and for my bishop to come and say to me, yes, you can marry that young man. Okay. Before he could even come to me and propose, and for that, and in the meantime we were praying and etc. and so on, but formally nothing could actually happen until our bishops had seal and sign it.
Okay. So what I want to go back a little bit before you get to the stage where, because you don't want to be going to your pastor every week and saying, oh my God, pastor, I meet such and such, or I meet such and such. And if you're not in a position where you're going to just meet somebody and say, look, he's going to be the person that I'm going to be dating, how do you initiate that? Just being friends with a group of guys. No, that sounds really wrong. I'm really sorry. I'm scratching.
No, that might be happening. Can I come in there before Garfield has a little? I know I'm dominating, but this is what I try to avoid. And this is personally speaking for me. I try to avoid speaking to many and developing many friends that way. Because let's be frank. We know that we're looking for a husband. We know that we want affection. And I protect my heart. I'm not going to go around talking to every Tom, Dick and Harry unless I feel, the Bible says, casting. I always was mindful of that scripture, casting my pearl before swine. I knew I had the capacity to really love somebody. And I didn't want, having gone through that relationship, even with my son's dad, and it didn't come to much. I knew even at that young age that I wanted someone to love me, and I wanted to love them back. And that for me, that was precious. And so for years and years and years, as I said, I just got on with my singlehood. Even when I went to Jamaica, I didn't have nothing in my mind to say I'm going to get married. But I like friendships, as I said. I started to speak to this young man. But what I try to say to singles now is to protect your heart. You know, obviously, you don't want to encourage this promiscuity, not sexual promiscuity, but just going through an endless line of brothers talking to everybody. Because it's not healthy. There's two things. It's not constructive if you just keep going, keep searching, especially social media now. And it can be misconstrued that you're flirtatious. You don't have no real substance in who you're talking with and so on. So when you do meet that someone special, you've got that history. So everybody know you used to go out with that one, and you used to engage with that one, and that one, you got a whole line. So what I try to say to the singles is, don't encourage that type. Yes, remain friendly, and I like to empower singles to have the confidence to speak to a brother.
Yeah.
But you have your borders, have your boundaries.
And actually, speak to
Go
your pastor first.
Yeah, after a while, if you
because
find something going on, you just go along and speak to your pastor. And your pastor can speak to this chap. And if he's from 10,000 miles away and you've just met him at a conference, your pastor is the best person to approach the other pastor to get some history.
Okay. Okay, so how important, Brother Garfield, this is for you. How important is the male, what's the word I'm looking for? How important is it for the brother to spearhead or to initiate certain things? For instance, to move the relationship from a friendship into the other realm. Should a young woman be left wondering, well, does he really like me, or is he my boyfriend, or are we just friends? How important is it for you as a brother to make sure that when you were dating, for Sean to know what stage you were at?
I think what you have to do is the things that you do to her, the love that you show her, and things that you do, she will pick up from there. Know that is moving forward. It's moving forward, because if you're there, maybe saying I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, but love is action. So you have to make you have to make it known to her. I love you, but you have to
gestures.
Do something.
And don't say I love you too quick. I never like to.
No, don't say. Don't say that. I love you. Yes, just work yourself into it. Believe me, just work yourself into it. Your pastor work yourself into it and everything like that. Because my bishop, before I went to him, it was like he's saying to me that the day when I actually went to him, he says, you pay tithes.
Wow.
So, he said you pay tithes. If you rob God, you're gonna rob your wife.
Okay.
So that was it, and I was so scared, because I said, listen, I have to look up on the amount of time I pay tithes, and I'm there during the night. I can't sleep. I said no. He said I'm gonna ask the missionary if you pay tithes.
Oh my word!
It was a judgment. But still, I get over it, and, I met his bishop and we talk.
Well, those are certain principles, let's face it. Having been married for so many years, because you, for example, I watch your relationship with your sisters, I watch your relationship with your parents, your mom especially, and especially if you're faithful for the Lord, having been married to you now, you know that he in hindsight, retrospectively, then, from what your bishop said to you, you would have made sure taking care of your wife financially. Because you are about God's business. And these are facts. When you're looking for someone to marry, don't just, you're not just looking for somebody to marry, You're looking for a soulmate. The two of you have a connection. It should be important to you that the bedrock of your intended life, the bedrock of it is Christ. Because when you're married and you're going through, because people see us and they must think that we live in Alice in Wonderland, but we don't live in an Alice in Wonderland. We go through issues just like any married couple, but the bedrock of it is Christ. It's got to be prayer. It's got to, him and faith. I beg him every day, please, just knock back the faith a little bit, no matter. Oh, please, just take the tablets and give me a hard time. Oh, please. We just come through it. But he's taken me on a journey from just being an ordinary sister, ordinary human being, to somebody that can have faith and be faithful and consult Christ for for difficult things and see them actually come through. Pray until things come through with that, and that's what you don't just want to get married. That's why I asked you that question before.
Yes, I was just going to touch on that actually.
You want a soulmate.
Before we went on camera, one of the questions that Sister Sean asked is, she said that a question that should be asked to every single is why you would want to get married.
Yeah.
So, Sister Sean, I'm going to ask you to elaborate on that a little more. And we're speaking to, I want you to give some advice to leaders as to what they can get from asking this question.
Yeah, you need to ask that question. Having been married, having known this young man, he's still young.
Oh, still young,
for 30 years. I have a lot of conversation with singles, especially young singles. And most especially, this question is directed to older singles, more mature singles. And sometimes in your later years, you want to get married. But why do you want to get married? That question, as I say, can be directed at any age group. What do you think marriage is going to do for you that nothing else has done for you so far? You know, how is it going to enhance your life, affect your life? What is it about marriage that you want?
Okay.
And if you can answer that question, then you can identify whether you want to get married. Do I really want to get married? Why do I want to get married? What is it about marriage? Is it because once you get into marriage, that's it.
Okay, so tell me some of the we were talking about some of their experiences before as well. So tell me some of the things that because we have this idea of marriage being how we see it in the movie, exactly, in the movies. So what are, and it does go back to one of the questions in the comments that we had on Facebook about walking out marriage in reality in front of young people. What are some of the things that we don't know, or as young women, yes, I'm still young, we don't want to accept about marriage, or we don't think about?
You know, answer that one?
Well, what I'm saying about marriage, you argument.
People don't want to accept that their arguments.
They argument. You argue.
They don't want to accept that there's incompatibility.
Yes.
And I think I must apologize as a married woman, as a married sister, that you somehow portray this perfection. Marriage isn't two perfect people coming together. It's a complete opposite.
Yeah.
When I met him, it's not because he's perfect, and I certainly wasn't perfect. I'm the world's most hardest person to live with, but he chose to stay with me.
Yes, I think.
No,
I'm perfect.
Marriage is perfect. We must get that out of our head now. There's gonna be arguments, cold shouldering, and you get up in the morning, I just don't want to see him this morning, you know. If I go home this evening and he's in that chair or whatever, I'm not cooking this evening. Those kind of things go on in a relationship. So people don't want to acknowledge that.
So it's not all hearts and candies and going away for weekends and holidays and, you know, and let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
What about the intimacy? Is that just like pow, awesome?
You mean what we said before?
Yes.
People sometimes want to get married to experience the sexual part.
Yes.
And they've got this idea that it's like all night long. And it's all week long. And it's just so long, this intimacy. But it's only a couple of seconds. Sister, it's not that long. You know what I mean? It's not that long, and sometimes you want it again or another 3-4 times for the evening. Don't go like on the TV.
I can't.
And all these different positions or whatever.
I'm fully embarrassed. I'm like a prude.
No. I think what happened, people will read the Mills and Boons and think, oh my gosh, this is what I'm going to do. But by all means, when you're married, you explore and you experiment. And we've explored and we've experimented and we've really explored and experimented. You know, we've got 7 children. That's what we love. But don't get married for the wrong reason, because don't forget, look.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
Am I dominating again?
No, we need a telly or something.
We need a telly. Listen, we used to have some long weekends, Nobody's coming to the door. We're not in. The curtain's not opening. But anyway. So don't get married for the wrong reason. But love your husband. Share your body, your mind, everything with your husband. Women, sisters, don't be frigid and shy.
No.
Take out the Wincy at 90 and them things, you know, just get something.
Okay,
nice.
hold up.
But
what's a Wincy at 90?
You don't know Wincy? Oh, you're a bit young, isn't it? You know Wincy at 90, my God. Google it. And the bonnet, like what they used to wear in the black and white movies, they tie it under your throat. Don't wear that shit, please. And the tired, I don't wear tired now.
No tired.
Make sure you get married for the right reason.
Okay.
Get married. And as I say, you need a soulmate, because obviously hindsight is always easier, having gone through the journey that we've gone through. I mean, right at the start of our marriage, I had a miscarriage. Oh, the most awful experience that I've ever had to go through. He was my rock. He was my rock. He was there. Never had any experience with anything like that. Very supportive. On hand. Physical, what all that miscarriage has to deal with, from the emotional to the physical side of it. He was there and helped me through it. And actually, we plan to have a little conference about releasing the pain and breaking the silence, because what we discovered just over recent months is that we never talk about miscarriage from the husband's point of view. It's always from the sister's, the wife's point of view, what she goes through. But I've since discovered that he witnessed the baby stop breathing, stop moving, and he never told me that for all these years. And I recently, over months, realised that he actually, and I never considered. It affected him, but I never know the depth that it affected him.
As a man, actually, I take her to the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
And go to the traffic lights.
The red light.
The red lights. She said, listen, don't stop at it, don't stop. And the red light. I said, listen,
to the red light.
I'm pressing him. I'm reaching there, and I reach the hospital with her. I watch his children. Because, and the next thing again, with a father, actually, you have to watch your children grow.
You do,
You have to be a rock to
be
really
present with them,
press on and watch it grow.
So, Brother Garfield, I want to direct this to you. I know that in recent months you haven't been well. You've suffered some ill health. In hindsight, looking back now, how important was it for you to choose the wife that you've chosen, knowing that you have gone through this period? How has that helped you? How has she been there for you and to support you and still, keep you being the man that you're used to being?
Oh, listen, I don't think I would want anyone else without she, because she's very supportive. I would say very supportive. Many times you going to a dialysis, and she take me there, take me back. She do everything for me actually, and very, I don't know what to say now, because I don't think if I married someone else, maybe I could. God give us the right choice. Believe you me, God give us the right choice, because if I never have her. Because the Bible said in sickness and in health, till death do us part. But I believe oh, this sickness that I went through, she's there for me every way, every bit of the way. She's there for me, and to strengthen me so much. That's, so even sometimes I feel like I cry. Yeah, because she's very good, and I believe as a young man trying to get married, believe you me, you have to
make sure.
You have to make sure. In a sense, you don't make sure, and you get something like you just say is now is a fake, and you go on with the fake, and when sickness come, when money trouble come, love gone through the window. I believe you have to make sure that this woman is my wife, and we're gonna spend the rest of our life together. And believe me, I spent some lovely time with her.
Has there ever been a time and we're gonna wrap up soon, but I definitely want to ask this question. Has there ever been a time in your relationship when you think, you know what, this is it now, we can't do this anymore, this is over? And how did you get from that to here?
Well, I mean, I never come to that, stage wherein I have to say it's over now. I believe
you face great challenges.
Yes, I face great challenges, great challenges. But I say to myself, no, it can't be over because God put us together. And you have to be a spiritual man. Listen. You have to be a spiritual man. And you have to say, God put us together, and I'm going to stay together until death do us part. So I believe you have to be a rock. Believe you me. If you be a guys out there, you're going to push everything over. So you have to be a rock. And I thank God, really, the day when he let me say hello. Yes.
But I think for me, as a woman's perspective, and I said it to you before, I see it as my job to initiate and instigate little jewels in the relationship, because there are things that will attack your relationship. And that's what I want to encourage as singles. Don't go into relationship thinking this is all just going to be a long walk in the park. It's not. You've got to try your utmost best every day. You make that choice, whether it's the meal that you prepare or how you're going to please your husband, things that you're going to do to enhance your relationship. And also remember, you've got yourself. Although you're married, you're also an individual. But going back to what I said before, there are things that will attack your relationship. Most recently, last couple of weeks ago, another bout of illness tried to raise its head. Now, I'm here and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, again, Lord. And I haven't even got the will, I haven't got the strength. But you know what? I've had giants being raised up around me, my children, my son. And when I couldn't, they stepped in, and one of them came and said, Mom, we're going to fast. And I think that's what happens in the relationship, that it's not just you now. It's not just the two of you. You've got the children to come along and support you. And I think as things attack the relationship, you can say, oh my gosh, what next?
What next?
Can this survive this?
It's over.
Can it survive? But somebody prayed on Sunday, and that prayer was key. The minister that prayed on Sunday, because I believe that prayer was timely. Because the enemy's will is to break up families. And if you're silly enough to go through relationship thinking, he just wants us to stay together and forever happily ever after, that would be wrong. You've got to realize that his desire is to separate you, to sieve you, is to utterly destroy you, to shame you. And you've got to protect the relationship through prayer, through fasting, through supporting each other, doing any little things that you can to say, you know what, fight back. You got to fight for your relationship. The thing is, singles are going to be watching this, but also married, tired relationships. Are you in a tired relationship right now? In your hands. It's in your hands. Salvage the relationship. Don't just sit down and watch a tired relationship go down the pan. Get up and do something. You know, it doesn't have to be a husband that's going to get up and bring that big bunch of roses from Sainsbury, Asda, or Lidl, whatever, or Aldi. You get up and do something about that tired relationship. It got to the stage where you're not talking, you're not being sensual. What's happened to the sensuality? Get a new nightie or take off the tire, do your hair or whatever.
Yes.
You know,
stop it.
Yourself.
Yes.
Do something to revive the dead, tired, lifeless relationship.
Okay.
No.
Is the black church keeping black women single? So I want to go out with that. Because I noticed that you made some comments on Facebook earlier this morning.
About it,
Yes. So I want you to, for those of you who are not friends with me on Facebook, Mama's Kitchen was going in on it. So I want you to just express some of those views. Is the black church keeping black women single?
No. Absolutely not. We have great opportunity to meet a soulmate. We have the best opportunity. Look, the Pentecostal church is from China to the UK. Think of all those countries. So it can never be the black church. What's the black church? So the first thing you got to do, get rid of the names, get rid of the labels, and see yourself as part of the kingdom of God. And get the blackness out of your mind. Cross culture, international relationships. Get yourself out there. What I said to my son today, don't just hook up in Luton. Travel and know the world. There's such a nice guy across there in Italy right now for whoever wants him. He needs to know there's a sister over here in the UK for him. And okay, people use online to narrow the gap, but definitely not the black church. First of all, get rid of the label. There's so many millions of people in the church. Wouldn't you like to meet a nice little Chinese man, a nice little Switzerland man, French man?
Hi.
Mexican man, Spanish man.
Hi.
Hey.
Bonjour.
Brazilian. It's our mindset. It's not. We've got so many people in church. The only thing we've got to do is what we tend to do culturally is we devote ourselves to work to church, from work to church, from work to church. We don't have a social life. And then the next thing I would like to see is that we make a deliberate, intentional step to encourage more social events. Yes, after church you can see the guy across, like I used to see him in the choir, and like make sure I'm sitting not behind somebody. You can well see me, I can well see him. But that's not enough. You need to have a conversation with each other. And if you have a great big event, a singles event,
I don't know how to cope with that.
you just make sure. I had a big wide Mexican hat when you met me. And even today he said to me, I had a sombrero on. He said he always mocks me. I make sure she have this big hat to say. He always tell the kids that. But it's certainly not stopping us from meeting, from marrying. It's certainly, we've got such a great opportunity. I think it's us that's not grasping it. Okay. We're not grasping. We hide behind that little theme that you just said now, the black church for marrying. No, but look how many, in our church run alone, maybe we've got 60 people. Okay, men may be scarce, but that's just your local assembly. Men ain't scarce all over. If you went to Barbados or Africa, whichever continent, you'll find a single woman will find a single man. But don't forget, this is not just single ladies. Single men are looking for people too.
Okay.
So go on, sorry.
And I think when it says the black church, whatever, stopping
the black women,
get a black woman from marriage, I think they have a age we call it
limit.
a limit.
True. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's wrong.
If you don't get married by that age.
If you, and they don't allow, if you're 18 and you 20 to even 21, it seems like they want you to marry
Tomorrow.
when you're 30.
And when you're 40.
When you're 40.
Yeah.
And it's not, if your body calling for something, I mean, you have to go with your body.
When your body starts calling, you're young, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Yeah, because God said, be fruitful and multiply. And from you reach certain age, and your body start to give you trouble. Listen. Yes, calling.
Yeah.
Calling. You have to go.
Okay, we're on our last question now. So we know that you have taken that to the heart. Brother Garfield, how many sons do you have?
Me?
Yeah, how many sons?
I have six. It's six. Yeah, 6 sons. And beautiful guys.
So,
yeah.
Ladies, sister.
But he hasn't mentioned the ones that that didn't survive the pregnancy. We've had 10 children.
Oh yeah, we have 10 children. Yes.
Okay.
10 children.
Okay.
Two sets of twins.
Yeah.
Twin girls that we lost.
Oh.
Wow.
2 single twins.
I think.
Yeah, we've been busy, mate.
I think.
Okay, so brother Garfield and Sister Sean currently has
7 altogether.
7 altogether potential husbands in their household.
Yes.
So my last question, and we're going to close out with this.
Yes.
What type of training are you giving your boys to make sure they are husband ready?
How to treat a wife.
Yes.
Dearly.
Specifically, like what kind of things do you kind of purposely...
I respect. I learned them domestication, iron, cook, clean, wash.
Yeah.
Not to use something, leave it there for mom to come out. I stopped clean up behind them now. This is a war going on now. Because I want, when they eat out of that plate, they see it through the whole process. They eat out of the plate, they walk to the kitchen, wash it, and put it on the draining.
Yes.
I get them to get the Hoover vacuum. They've got to be thorough. They've got to learn to iron, be courteous, respectful, and most of all, I don't want to have for them, we discuss this topic very often, coercive behavior and attitude, that controlling thing. We can't say it's not present in Christendom, in the kingdom of God. It can be this controlling aspect, because we've misinterpreted that the husband is the head. So therefore, you don't want to be one of these men that come in with your size 12 feet and you just want to dominate. You don't have necessarily. I always encourage them to not have this. And also, I deal with emotional abuse, physical abuse. I touch the whole, everything I touch.
Okay, but how and do you also balance that with teaching them, even though you don't want them to be controlling and abusive, but how do you then balance the fact that, well, they need to still set an example and lead and be the guard of their home?
Whatever you're going to tell, whatever I want you to do, I have to be doing it stuff. So if I say to them, I want you to be high achievers, I'm going to be a high achiever. If I say to them, I want you to be highly educated, I wanted a good job, I must be doing that. Save, handle your money, economize. Right now, my second oldest son, he's living on his own. He's jolly well going to learn how to economize. Learn to balance the books, because when he take on a wife, he's got to learn how to balance the books. And he maybe want to come back and learn to balance the books. Run because you're going to be a leader. You're going to raise leaders. You understand? You're going to have a woman beside you that's going to complement that. But you have to know how to do that yourself first. So it's a hard job getting them to,
we tell them not to run about. Not to run about.
And serve God.
One wife serve God.
They've got to serve God.
If you see someone you love, You just love that person,
I don't
marry
want them
that
to be
person.
promiscuous. I don't want
Yeah.
to. I said to them, don't bring a sister every month. Come show me. I don't want to see a sister. Sorry, I got to speak English.
No. This is you can
I don't want to see a sister every month. And I don't want you out there going through them like a combine harvester.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
I want you to have respect and high esteem.
Yes,
This is your queen. She really isn't dead, you know, because they'll take off the coat and lay it in the mud. Let her walk over it. What's wrong with that? That's not dead. Yeah, I want them to really be gentlemen, and I want them. I believe and I know it now, that we're raising priests among us, because I watch them minister. I hear them pray. I see them lay hands on their father and he recover.
Lay hand.
And if you don't have those things instilling in your young men, when they get into relationships, how are they going to fight? How are they going to combat? One of my sons last month, he preached about wetting that shield of faith, wetting it in prayer, wetting it in faith.
We're so blessed.
And as usual, the mobile phone interrupt us. But that was a blessing, and that's how you want to rear them.
Yeah.
That's how you want to rear them. You know, indeed, you want to rear them to be mighty men of valor.
Yes.
Mighty men. And that is just that. I told them, as for me and my house, we'll serve the Lord. I tell them that every day.
Yeah.
There's no alternative. There's not a choice thing to say, okay, because if you're not serving the Lord, who is going to serve? And come inside there with it? No. So this is the mindset I give them. I program them to fear God, like how I used to fear my dad, and maybe even worse. Fear God.
So, Brother Garfield,
yes,
I'll give you the last word. Is there any advice that you would give to your younger self about choosing a wife, knowing what you know now?
Yes, I think by choosing a wife, you look for, when I say qualities.
What would you say? Sorry, what would you say to young Garfield?
Young Garfield.
Yeah, what would you say to yourself 30 years ago?
You have to be very, like, let me put it into words. You have to be tough. You have to be lovable. You have to love to the extreme. Yes, and you have to be compatible, I would say. Of your wife, you're compatible. Not the same thing. You will do something, and you need her. You need her to manage that thing. Yeah. You need her. When she said you must not say you are the head. I hate when couples said I'm the head and God put me as the head, and you must be the neck because you are the head. But I believe in you have to have friendship. Love your wife. You have to love your wife, and I think I will end with that. You love your wife to the maximum. Yes.
Okay. So there we have it, young viewers. I think that Brother and Sister Garfield, that's my name. I dubbed the Brother and Sister Garfield, has shown a good example in my eye of what a godly marriage is like. And I will just end with this. One of the reasons why I started with a married couple for a singles journey is because this is the destination that we're looking for. We don't just want to have a wedding. We want to have a godly marriage and a godly home. And some of the time us singles, we make the mistake of sitting among singles and talking about being single and talking about marriage, but you can't speak to somebody or get advice from someone to go on a journey that they haven't been on themselves. So sometimes it's good to relate and to talk to people who's in the same boat as you. But if you want to get out the boat and start on the land journey, you've got to speak to somebody who's actually stepped out of the boat before. So God bless you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
There's a better way.